previously we'd already seen math being done. And we've already seen assignment being done where we have a variable and we need to give it a value. So when we give a variable a value, it is called assignment. So int x equals 10 is a declaration and an assignment. Or int x on one line, so we would have a semicolon, and then x equals 10. That line, x equals 10, is an assignment. Here in 3.6, and this is on page 106, we have the idea of multiple assignment. And you can see it right here in this blue box, and I won't walk us through the program, which you can follow along with. Down here. It is program 311 and it's on page 107. We'll just stick here on page 106 for the time being. Multiple assignment is where I have A equals B equals C equals D equals 12. So what happens here in this statement, like you can see on page 106, is we start at which side of the equation here? So we start on the right-hand side of the equals. But which equals do we start on? Well, here in the case of multiple assignment, we start at the right-hand side of the last equals. So equals 12 is the first thing that's evaluated. C++ then goes, I've got a value. That value is 12. Where do I save this? And it goes to the left, and it saves that value of 12 to our variable D. Then it looks at that and it says C equals D. It starts on the right-hand side of that equation, the D, which equals 12, and then it stores that value into my other variable on the left-hand side, which is C. We'll go one more time. So now I have B equals C is the way that's evaluated. So C has a value, that is 12. That value is stored in the left-hand side of that equation, so that's the variable B. So then C++ goes to B's location in memory, and it gives B the value of 12. Please be careful when you do this stuff. They are not necessarily easy for the next developer in the chain to determine what in Sam heck is going on when you're doing this. It's also really difficult for a new developer in the chain. So let's say me, the most important next developer in the chain when it comes to the stuff that we'll be producing. So when I come through and I see this, I'm going to have to go back and find out what A and B and C and D really represent. So that's where better naming conventions for our variable names comes through here too. But I'm going to have to go and find what A and B and C and D mean. I'm going to have to determine what 12 is really worth to everything. You can do this. There's reasons why you might do this. Let's say you're working with months of the year. So how many months have 30? How many months have 31? How many months have 28? So you could break out your year and go, okay, so January, March, June, August, September, so on and so forth, get 31. You could do that, but really limit how densely it is that you want to use these, because they're not necessarily the easiest thing for the next developer in the chain to figure out. On the other hand, combined assignment you will use all the time. And I just want to point you here because I actually think that this goes relatively fast, and I want to treat you like you're going to get this relatively fast. When we have the condition that we want x equals x plus 5. So we want some math to be done to our variable called x, but then I want that saved back over into my variable. So, y equals y times 2, things like that, where you're changing the fundamental value of a variable based on a mathematical expression, but we want to be able to condense that mathematical expression. That's what we get with combined assignment. Here it's table 3-9. It's on page 107. Instead of x equals x plus 5, I can say x plus equals 5. So this statement over here and this statement over here are equivalent. One of them just goes a lot faster. I can use minus equals. So that means y minus equals 2 is the equivalent of y equals y minus 2. And so on and so forth. So I can do times equals, divide equals, and mod equals. We're going to see the modulo operator here in a little bit. It's different than what we've seen, but it's really fantastic for you as a developer. It gives us a way out of doing it gives us the remainder in mathematical operations, which is fantastic. So you'll see that when we get through to our chapter 3 code demos at the end, you'll see a modulo operator example. So hold tight for that one. So combined assignment is fantastic. Times equal, minus equal, plus equal, divide equal, mod equal. Much faster, much easier to see. It's usually pretty obviously clear to the next developer in the chain what's happening, and it can save you, a little bit of typing, which everybody enjoys now and again.